when I divorced, I was not financially in a great place because I had just delivered, I had left, obviously pregnancy left, उसके बाद I left, so 2-3 साल का gap आ गया, तो it became very difficult for me to think, and I was 86 kgs. अरे वो गुस्से में था, तो उसने ना उसको actually थोड़ा धक्का मार दिया, तो उसको चोट लग गई. But नहीं, उसने उसको थप्पड़ थोड़ी ना मारा, उसको थोड़ी ना कुछ जाके, नहीं कुछ नहीं किया यार. That guy was not violent. Excuse me?
Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, a lot. For my marriage to start crashing down was probably the worst feeling to accept. I thought it took me, even after divorce, it took me a lot of years to come to terms with it. Jabki, you know, like somebody would flirt with me, I used to get offended. I, for years, never told them what I was going through, या मुझे क्या लग रहा है, या ये नहीं सही हो रहा है, या वो. I never told them. They were not a part of where it started, how much it happened, yeah. But today I feel batati to shayad, you know, it would have been easy. Jaydon has definitely been through those phases where the kids, you know, they're curious to know why your father doesn't stay, or why are you staying alone, and these things. But Jaydon being my kid, you know, we are like very cool duo. If anybody knows us, they know us.
I've seen the Strawberry Gang.
Yeah, so you know, for him, he'll be like, so what? Like, my mom's there, she does everything, that's fine. We broke the house, it became 2 homes. Now my home, I'm very sure, is a happy home. I always pray that for Shalin, that he has a happy home. So Shalin से चाहे 2 मिनट मिले, Jaydon अच्छे से मिले, respectfully मिले. मुझे जब obviously मेरे साथ तो रहता ही है. 2 happy homes are so much better than 1 unhappy home. I got affected by the second half that I've been telling everybody about, is when I think Tina asked him, was it an abusive relationship, and he said no. And मैं जब तुम्हें बताऊंगा, you'll be like, really? जिस तरह से he said it, but you don't laugh and say, जब तुम्हें पता चलेगा, you'll be like, really? मुझे वो बहुत bother किया.
It's not always about the situations or the struggle and how you brave it that makes you a warrior. Braving is amazing, but surviving is even better. Today I have a survivor joining me for Bollywood Bubble's Extraordinary You, because her journey has been extraordinary. Dalljiet Kaur joins me for a conversation only on Bollywood Bubble. Hello. Thank you so much. A lot of people have seen your story, have been a part of it. They relive it every day with you. If you had to sum it up, did you feel at any point like it was difficult, and did you ever want to like give up, or did you like, because you've never given up?
No, giving up was never an option, and I'm not somebody who talks about giving up. Life is, you know, your life, if I ask you, you'll never say, oh, perfect hai, sab kuch. Dada or the camera guy, you know, everybody has a struggle, everybody has a story, and everybody I know will say कि मेरे पे तो एक कहानी लिखी जा सकती है. So I think that is something that's a constant with everybody's life. किसी का ज़्यादा, किसी का कम, but giving up is something I don't associate with. As a person, as my dad's daughter, like I'd like to say, I don't give up.
But Dalljiet, you know, when certain things happen in your life, especially which is beyond your control, कभी-कभी, like you said, social prejudices, social conditioning ऐसी है. जैसे मैंने श्वेता तिवारी के साथ बात की, जो हम लोग बात भी कर रहे थे about the interview. She also spoke about something that हमेशा पहले लोग कुछ सुने ना सुने, कहानी दोनों तरफ की सुनने से पहले ही लोग औरतों को पहले जज कर लेते हैं कि इसी ने कुछ किया होगा जिसके वजह से ये हुआ है. Did you go through the same, and how did you deal with that kind of social stigma around you?
Yeah, but it is very weird. I don't know now, probably because it's been quite some years for me. Probably things have changed, and you know, we see Johnny Depp's case, or we see a lot of other cases where we feel कि नहीं अब ऐसा नहीं है यार. People are, you know, it's not gender biased or whatever. So I don't think that is the case today. So yes, I've been through that phase where I was judged for, you know, is the girl more smarter than, you know, तुम ही कहीं ज़्यादा शानी तो नहीं बन रही हो. Because, and I remember asking somebody at that time कि, you know, I am educated. मैं अच्छा खासा, like I have a child. Why would I do this? They said, like, ma'am, education has nothing to do with it. So they have their own reasons, probably. But yeah, women are looked in question, you know, because they feel, oh, ये तो money के लिए कर रही होगी या इसके लिए कर रही होगी. I don't know what is the stigma, which probably has changed now. But women are directly questioned. No, it hasn't.
It hasn't changed to that extent. It's changing, but that progress is very slow.
Like how divorce was a huge thing when it happened to me. Like, you know, they were like, oh my God, कैसे होगी ज़िंदगी कैसे होगी आप, मतलब Jaydon क्या बताएगा, ऐसे क्या बताएगा, you know, what is there to say? He is coming to a happy home, a very fulfilling home, but the stigma is as real as it gets.
At that point, did you feel helpless? Because, you know, initially आप जितने भी close हो अपने family के साथ, but first few beatings when you take it on yourself, beatings as in I mean the situation and the experiences, you really don't want to open up to your loved ones also, because again about somebody who you have truly loved.
So I am a very vocal person, and that's a problem in my life. I am told again and again repeatedly by my sisters, by my people कि तू अपने अंदर रखा कर. I don't have that. I don't have something called an intelligent shield. I don't have that. You'll see me now, I'm pepped up. You'll see me if I'm sad. You'll see me. I'm somebody who's vocal, and that actually I think has helped. And that is something that I've told a lot of women on the way, a lot of people on the way. It's good to speak exactly the way you feel. It does, of course, comes with, oh, देखो इसको तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा, या oh my God कितना बोलती है. That's okay. But letting it out actually is self-healing by itself, and it helps. So helpless or not, I don't think I am somebody who associates helpless with me. I am too strong for that. You know, too army kid for that, I can say. Not a helpless person. But yeah, you know, sometimes you feel the situations, why is it not working according to me? Like, it was supposed to be simpler. Why is it not simple? Because of the society, because of a lot of things going on. You do get stuck and you're like, this should have been better. Like, this can be tackled in such an easy way. So it gets very weird.
There was a point of time, you know, now where I read your interview where you said that almost started, you could see the signs from day one, like after marriage. Did you feel today, when you look back, do you feel that you neglected those red flags in the beginning?
Yeah, one, I got married when I was 24, 25. That's not the age that I think our generation, who's ambitious, who wants to work also, who wants to take care of the house also, wants to be a mother also. I was somebody who's grown up into मुझे तो चूड़ा पहनना है और मुझे तो मतलब सिंदूर पहनना है. I'm still that person. I think I'm a very filmy, beyond, like, want to be married. I'm always married in my head, I feel, you know. I'm that person. The sari pehen ke, I feel it's still like dangling somewhere, you know. I'm that person. So for me, there were too many things I wanted in my life in terms of being happy, you know. So it was a very red flags, you know, nahi samajh mein aate when you're in that age. Today, if you tell me, I know what I do not want. I might still not know what I want, but I know ye bye-bye. Like, that is a thing for sure. So today at this age I can say that. But at that age everything was very la for me. So I was not thinking or making judgments. So I give that thing to myself also.
At the same time, you know, when you started off your career as an actor and you're already financially so independent, but something like this happens to you, then suddenly it definitely affects your finances because your priorities had changed by then. You had a child. So how did life change? It was a life-altering decision, which many women out there, unfortunately, would be scared to take because of the halat that they are in. But you did brave that decision. But I want to know that हम लोगों ने सिर्फ वो bravado देखा जैसे मैंने कहा, but we've not seen the real pangs that went inside your head.
Rightly said. You know, independence is such a strong word. In just not being independent कि मैं तो जाके खाना खुद से खरीद के ला सकती हूँ is not. Women especially, and I say this over and over again, I say because on Instagram, on Twitter, a lot of people join, you know, and say कि मेरे घर में ऐसा चल रहा है, what do I do? I tell them, make sure that you educate yourself. Whether it is right now doing some course and figuring out what you can do. Independence, financial independence is so important for a girl especially. Because फिर आप सिर्फ एक इमोशनल वो नहीं ले रहे हो कि यार अगर मैं शादी से निकल गई तो मैं करूँगी क्या, पालूंगी कैसे बच्चे को. पालना is not only the boy's responsibility, it's equally yours. So you need to be capable, and that is something. I was independent before I was already doing a lead. I was a winner of Nach Baliye. I was doing what, 2 leads at that time. At like Star 1 पे आता था, Star Plus पे आता था. I was doing lead for both the channels. I like, in my life was exactly like that. I would run 4 घंटे 5 घंटे सोती थी. So I was independent, you know. But I got married. Then like I said, I've always been the married person in my life. So then I kind of let my independence take a back step. the family and everything obviously came right in front, which I thought, again, like my age probably, where my independence financial took a back step, which if I had to do any of this again, it will be a very different route to take. Like I would not let go of my financial independence, because that is what gives you the confidence कि ये गलत हो रहा है and I want to step out. तो वो तभी हो सकता है जब आपको पता है कि यार क्या होगा maximum. I'll stay in a different house. Yeah. I'll figure it out. But अगर आपको ये टेंशन है कि यार रेंट कौन देगा, ये कौन देगा, that becomes difficult. And when I divorced, I was not financially in a great place because I just delivered. I left, obviously pregnancy left. उसके बाद I left. So 2-3 साल का gap आ गया. So it became very difficult for me to think. And I was 86 kgs, more than anything else. And being an actor, I'm sorry, it's not about the weight per se, but you know, अगर मैं 2 साल पहले अंजलि play कर रही हूँ, I'm playing like a 26-year-old. 2 साल के अंदर I can't play a 45-year-old. Think of an actor.
Yeah. And once you play, you will be slotted in that bracket.
Correct. और आप 2 साल के अंदर just because you were pregnant for those many whatever months and then you delivered, वो 2 साल के अंदर an actor is not prepared to take a leap of 20 years. You know?
Yeah.
तो मुझे suddenly वो हुआ कि shit, मुझे तो काम करना पड़ेगा and I have to go back, and the only thing I remember doing very well is acting. I'm told that I'm a good actor, right? And that is something, of course, I'm comfortable with. But as an 86, what do you do? Like, I need time to get well, like, you know, get into shape and whatever. That was like a crazy journey, and wo period of looking like an actor again and going back to on the set was probably the most difficult, and that is when every day I realized kitna important I should have, you know, done this and isko rakh lena chahiye tha, ye karna chahiye tha. Of course, you learn from your mistakes, and that is something I will not do in my life today. No matter what happens, Dalljiet Kaur will always be financially independent. I might not do very well, but I will not let anybody like make me take that as a back step. Like, I'll not do that for sure.
But what kind of days have you seen? Because I remember in the same interview that you had given a few years ago, I'm taking you back to that, where you had said that, you know, I'm left with no work.
Yeah.
I don't have the money. Yeah. I have to fend for my child because I've taken responsibility of the child, and I might even run out of money to feed him.
Yeah.
There was a time like that, right?
There was. It was quite crazy. I remember there was a time when genuinely I had to decide. There was a school, I don't want to mention the name. I had to decide between his education and the monthly ration. And I was like, and ration and beyond, like the main, jo is mahine chahiye hi chahiye. And I had exactly that much amount. And I don't know, it was instinctive or whatever. A lot of people were not, like, when I took the decision, they said ki galat kiya. I immediately paid for the education and was left with nothing. And pura, like, my bank just went like that. And I was like, shit, because education was never a compromise. And even in my head, it was, pata nahi, shayad it's that mother in me or the strong papa's daughter in me that I'll figure this shit out. And mere liye education is not a compromise, you know. And मैंने ये भी सोचा था कि यार स्कूल तो आपको कैसे भी मिल सकता है. बात ये नहीं है कि कोई छोटे स्कूल में जाता है तो कम एजुकेटेड होता है, बट क्योंकि एक स्टैंडर्ड अपना मेंटेन किया हुआ है और अगर मैंने यहाँ कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना सीख लिया, then life will become very easy. Yeah. Because it's very easy to compromise. 10 का नहीं तो 6 करना कितना आसान है, but 10 को 10 रखना is the main challenge, and that is what at that time I decided I'm not going to compromise. तो मुझे याद है मैं घर आई and again dad comes in. I was sitting with dad and I said, Dad, I might have just kind of emptied my bank account right now. And he's like, you had this much? I said, no, I gave it for this so-and-so school. And he's like looking at me, then how do you figure, like, and I'm not somebody who takes from my dad. I'm not, they've obviously done ऐसे under the table तो बेचारे करते रहते हैं, but I'm somebody who just feels that, मतलब मेरा ये फंडा हमेशा रहा है कि if I learn to take 2 rupees from you, I will end up taking 4 rupees from you. And then just a matter of time, I'll be very comfortable and say, यार 2000 दे दे, you know. So I've never started that 2 rupee journey because मुझे वो,
so it's not, rightly said.
It's true. You know, you learn to take when you learn to take.
You will only be taking. That's true.
Like, because of extreme financial, you know, blows on my head and, you know, तब मैंने ये तो डिसाइड कर लिया था कि यार करूँगी तो अपने बलबूते, यू नो, बट एजुकेशन पे कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं था. डेफिनेटली तब ये था कि चल यार ठीक है ना, ऑटो में चले जाएंगे, क्या फ़र्क पड़ रहा है, या यू नो 10 चीज़ों में मैं कि नहीं ये खरीदेंगे तो क्या हुआ, जेडन को भी 2 कपड़े ना चल रहा है ना, चलने दो, कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. आई डिडंट केयर कि उसको ही नोबडी शुड कम टू नो. आई वॉज नॉट इन में जो वो फंडा मुझे कभी आया ही नहीं. बट एजुकेशन, सो आई डिड दैट एट दैट टाइम. एंड माई फादर ही वॉज लाइक, you'll figure it out, right? I said, yeah, I'll figure it out. And I had no idea, because again, looking like this, I used to look into the mirror and I used to be like, ye to kya hi acting hogi ab? Because I'd become like, I'm not saying I was looking bad, but I've only done leads in my life. I'd reached that. So 2 saal mein, I was not prepared to be here, because mentally I was anyways there, emotionally I was there, and career bhi agar wahi shuru hota, to I would have, मतलब मैं बिल्कुल बिखर जाती. So मैंने 6 महीने में 34 kgs lose किए, and then I remember meeting Misha Gautam, जिन्होंने मुझे काला टीका ऑफर किया as a lead. तब थी वो मदर की जर्नी, but I started as a lead. It started on my face, so it was like a breather ki chalo. And during Kala Tika, 2 saal ke andar, I reduced so much that I started looking like my sister, my daughter's age. And then they had to chuck me out of the role also. And they tried to make a bun. They tried to make me look mature. So wo hua hi nahi, and then they had to take me out. But it's been quite.
But what you're saying is also something that most women might relate to, who have delivered or who have studied. It's actually not any kind of shaming towards yourself, but most women, you too went through a difficult kind of crisis in your life during your pregnancy and even after.
Yeah.
But there are many women who have a happy, familial life, but they still end up going through this situation after delivery. It's called postpartum depression, which is a problem where people don't like the way they look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And you had to battle both of it. Were times difficult? Did you break down? How did you handle yourself?
Yeah, I sometimes do think about it even now, because a lot of my friends, obviously over the years, even now, few of them are pregnant, and obviously over the years I've seen so many of my close friends get pregnant, and the way their pregnancy was dealt with, how beautiful the time was, and when they delivered, how they were pampered and taken care of, and few women who were ridiculed and typical ki thoda jana, gym jana shuru karna, and she's like, I want to enjoy this time. I feel in a very idealistic world, I would have loved to have at least 6-7 months of that weight on me, and to be made to be feel कि इतना प्यारा baby है, it doesn't matter, enjoy, and probably be given the best of the pizzas and the best of unhealthy food, and to a point where I would say कि चल यार अब करते हैं, अब hot बनते हैं, because reducing is not such a big deal, or becoming this, or more whatever, like it's not a big deal today, it's not a rocket science, so if there was a chance, I would have gotten back in my life. The only thing I would have wanted to enjoy was that time where is the celebration, where is that time of, there's this baby, you've just created a baby from your body. It's a big thing. I'm sure generations back it was something that women were doing like ek ke baad ek, so it was not celebrated or thought of, which again I feel it's such a shame. Like it should be, right? Like you've done a big job, bravo, like enjoy
created life.
You've created life. Somebody needs to pat you on the back and actually tell that. I think it's a big job, it's a beautiful thing that has happened, which is requires celebration. Not कि I remember Jaydon को मैं ऐसे एक pram जैसे वो झूला सा होता था उस पे रखती थी, and I used to skip in the house because I couldn't leave him to go to the gym because premature था and he would require feeding very very often. तो यहाँ रख के मैं skip करती थी, where I should have probably been enjoying or maybe going for a holiday and enjoying my weight, and then one day as an actor wanting to enjoy, like not in a 6 month, it could have gone very bad physically. तब कोई इतना मुझे awareness नहीं था.
But even before you delivered, when marriage is about companionship and it misses that very essence of companionship, especially when you're pregnant. Usually when you're pregnant, I know it's the mother who carries the child, but the father is equally responsible for the child's welfare. You didn't have your partner. Was it difficult to deal with it that time?
I remember like my friends would come take me for a coffee, or actually बहुत irony वाली बात है, my sister was pregnant at the same time, and she would have very different stories to tell. Like my जीजू in the middle of the night would say चल मैं तुझे ice cream लेके जाता हूँ, she'd be like क्या है ये रात को उठा के मुझे यहाँ ले जाता है वहाँ ले जाता है. They were basically enjoying that whole, he would take her for holidays and all of that during her pregnancy. I obviously didn't have any of those experiences, so मुझे तब, like I said, I was very young also. और मुझे पता नहीं था कि इतना सेलिब्रेट क्यों हो रहा है, like it's supposed to be done, like it was like a job that I was doing and ये है and I'm supposed to do this and do it well kind of a thing. तो difficult पता नहीं, तब पता ही नहीं था. Like today I know, I don't think I want to do this again, like get pregnant or whatever again, I don't think so. But if hypothetical world, I was pregnant right now, I would expect, I would say, you know what, take me out, you know what, do this. I would do that to my man today, because I know if you don't get it, you ask. It's a simple funda of
You never asked.
I never asked. पता ही नहीं था कि ये expectation भी होनी चाहिए सब। तो अब तो मैंने इतनी friends को देख लिया जिनकी
pregnancy बुरा तो लगता है,
obviously बुरा लगता है। like उस टाइम शायद ना कोई ऐसा एग्जाम्पल नहीं था मेरे पास कि यार देखो ना, लाइक उसके बाद जेडन हुआ और उसके बाद एक्चुअली इतने सारे मेरे फ्रेंड्स की जर्नी देखी, लाइक हाँ मुझे भी चाहिए था। तो वो पता नहीं था तब। I didn't know कि you know this is the world which is the world that people are living in. ये तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है यार, pregnancy is supposed to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know, Dalljiet, you are a very brave person. You are somebody who, like you said, thanks to your father and his habits, you also tend to take up challenges in life. Yeah. But eventually we are all human, right? I have seen this video of you with your child in your arms, and the child is barely a few months old.
Yeah.
Where you are going from one place to the other and cameras are following you for a bite, and you've broken down in the middle of the conversation. Yeah. For a really, like, Shweta Tiwari is the epitome of strength, right?
Oh, yeah.
But she did break down too. Breaking down is often considered as weakness, which it is not. How many times have you seen people judge or misunderstand your reactions in life?
You know, I don't. That I know what you're talking about. That is probably the only time that I just, you know, गोल suddenly मैं रुक गई and I was like shit. वो मैं बहुत mentally अपने आप को बहुत guarded रखती हूँ, because बड़ा simple फंडा है कि if I break down, then whether it's Jaydon, whether it's my parents, whether it's my support system, everything collapses, because eventually, you know, they are holding me because they don't have to hold me that tight, because you know she can take care of herself, and I like to be that person. I'm not somebody, if I'm weak and wobbly, I know that they'll have to put more pressure. I don't want them to. I want them to chill and be there. I know they are there. And मेरे life में from the beginning I've had this problem till today. I go through a lot in my life, in lot of you know spheres in my life. जब रोने का टाइम आता है या जब मुझे लगता है कि नहीं हो पा रहा फिजिकली मेंटली ये वो ऐसे सब आता है, I have a habit of going in my car and crying. It's very stupid.
I cry in the bathroom.
Okay, so mine is the car. मैं कार को ले जाती हूँ किसी ऐसे जगह पे जाके पार्क करती हूँ, फिर मैं वहाँ म्यूजिक लगा लेती हूँ या कोई कुछ लगाती हूँ, then I cry. और मुझे लगता है कोई देखना नहीं चाहिए. Like
it's the fear of not having anybody see it. I'm telling you.
हाँ, it is right. Like I am not, no matter what we converse right now, or my dad or Jaydon or anything happens, you will never see me break down, because that is something that I've very manually tuned myself to 3 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees कि नहीं. Because मेरा फंडा हमेशा ये रहा कि I am weak. सबको, my parents are old. My sisters have their own respective lives, problems / kids / husbands / whatever. My friends love me to another level. They have their own life as well. But if I'm wobbly, you know, they'll have to all maybe compromise in their respective lives as well, you know, and I will not accept that. And that is, and Jaydon especially, he looks at me as a super mom. He says there's nothing he can, like, aaj bhi is like tall kid, he comes till here. He'll say, Mommy, take me on a piggyback. मैं international airport पे कई बार उसको piggyback, जबकि दर्द भी हो रहा होता है. It's not that I'm trying to do something, but I just want him to know that he grew up with a strong woman, and that is something, whether it's physical
and it will
mental,
make him respect women so much more.
Yeah, and I genuinely have had it in a very manual, like I said, it's been a very manual. अब तो खैर normal हो गया है, but I don't cry that easily. And that day, yes, it happened. I think मैं एक तो वो मुझे बहुत लोग उस वीडियो के बारे में पूछते हैं, that's one off, and I look at me and I'm like, damn, क्यों किया मैंने? Because that's not me, and that's not. मैं बहुत overwhelmed थी, baby बहुत छोटा था, and that whole thing, I remember it was raining and there was media. मतलब मुझे याद है कोर्ट में जब कुछ हमारा whatever केस चल रहा था, एक तो जो सेशन कोर्ट्स होते हैं वहाँ पे ना बहुत लोग होते हैं. इट्स नॉट द जो हम लोग शूट करते थे तो बड़ा अच्छा लगता था, कोर्ट साफ सुथरा सा, आपका केस है तो आप बैठे, ऐसा नहीं होता है वहाँ पे. कम से कम 100-150 लोग इतने से कमरे में होते हैं, तो आपका जब केस बोला जा रहा है तो देयर एटलीस्ट 100 पीपल hearing everything that you're like exposed suddenly, just like a wound is dripping in front of everyone. It's like that. So being the private person that I was till then, it became just like, and then I saw some very familiar journalists in that room. And मुझे शुरू में लगा मैं am I visualizing, मुझे लग रहा है because I was so much was going on and I'm like, oh shit, there's media, there are these unknown people, like there was this overwhelming thing of जितना मैं वो रखना चाह रही हूँ, everybody is literally here now. And I think I was too overwhelmed. And I'm not comfortable being vulnerable as a person.
Dalljiet, also abuse of any kind is not cool.
No.
Whether it's verbal, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, especially.
Yeah.
We only speak about physical abuse because, of course, that's what people have been conditioned to speak about. Yeah. But mental abuse, emotional abuse, and of course, verbal abuse. How did you battle that for so many years? Did you never have a break point? श्वेता तिवारी ने ये बोला कि मतलब मेरी गलती ये हुई थी कि मैंने कभी घुमा के नहीं दिया, बिकॉज इवेंचुअली नहीं दिया, इसीलिए आस पड़ोस के लोग यही बोलते हैं कि चाटा मारा होगा ना, उसी ने कुछ किया होगा इसलिए चाटा पड़ा.
अब्यूज एक ऐसी चीज़ है ना, अब मैं अगेन लाइक आई सेड अपने पर्सनल जर्नी पे ना जाते हुए, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ रीजंस टू नॉट गो देयर, बट इन जनरल व्हाट आई स्ट्रांगली फील इज mental abuse हो, if somebody like I said walking by telling maybe जिसके 2 हफ्ते का शायद बच्चा है और किसी लड़की को इतना बोल दे कि यार जाना जिम शुरू कर, is an abuse.
Yeah.
You stop then and say नहीं मुझे तुम पिज्जा ऑर्डर करो and you bloody don't tell me to reduce. That is when you give it back. That is an abuse you need to stop. It starts on such small scary levels which we don't understand. There are women who stop getting milk because वो mentally pressure में होते हैं, क्योंकि milk के लिए क्या होता है traditionally, आप ये दाल खाओगे तो दूध ज़्यादा आएगा, आप ये खाना खाओगे तो तिल खाओ, ये खाओ, वो खाओ. Women around want you to feed your child. Obviously, as a mother you want to feed your child. So what do? For that they tell you ये खाओगे तो आएगा, ये खाओ. आपको सिर्फ खाना ही दिखता है उस time because you're only looking at the baby. You want your husband or your mother-in-law or your so-and-so to say enjoy this time, because eventually you're nourishing a small child जिसका कोई लेना ना देना ये glamour world से, या इसको hot मम्मी को तो hot लगना चाहिए जल्दी. So that pressure builds so soon. It's so not fair ना, कि ये एक तो ये abuse है जो मुझे लगता है ये मैं बहुत देखती हूँ और मुझे cringe बोलते हैं ना, वो होता है when I see somebody. और मेरा तो problem ही है, मेरे सामने कोई बोल दे तो मैं तो शुरू हो जाती हूँ. So this is mental abuse किसी भी level पे. Physical तो मतलब किसी का suppose I remember having a conversation with somebody जिसने ये बोला कि यार इसने इसको ना धक्का मारा था. मारा थोड़ी ना था, ऐसे तो उसको चोट थप्पड़ से या घूसे से नहीं लगी is not good enough. ये कौन decide करेगा? It is so stupid for somebody to put यार उसने अरे वो गुस्से में था तो उसने ना उसको actually थोड़ा धक्का मार दिया तो उसको चोट लग गई. बट नहीं, उसने उसको थप्पड़ थोड़ी ना मारा, उसको थोड़ी ना कुछ जाके नहीं कुछ नहीं किया यार. दैट गाय वाज नॉट वायलेंट. एक्सक्यूज मी.
Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, a lot. This is exactly violence. कौन define करेगा? Even if you're sitting like that and I touch you and say and you're not liking that feeling, you're supposed to shun me down and say excuse me, don't like this touch. It's not stereotype कि मारा या मारा. It is कौन define कर रहा है? It could be the touch, it could be a mental place you don't want to be in, or somebody telling you something that you don't like. You speak.
Yours was a love marriage.
Yes.
And then having to go through all of this. The first time it happened to you, did it shock you? Did it leave you like without any words? I don't know how it would have felt. Like people who don't know each other, then it's not wrong. It's still not wrong, but you can still make yourself understand that maybe I didn't know the man well enough or the woman well enough. But here you actually made the choice of getting married to a person who you were in love with. Did that break your heart a little more?
Any relationship hitting a rock bottom or coming to a level where there is disrespect of any sorts, it instantly of course affects you on multiple levels, of course. And मेरे लिए low points बहुत सारे थे, whether it was compatibility or expecting something else and getting through something else. वो एक I think that's why marriages start breaking also on mental level much earlier than it going on court. So ये तो obviously है, and obviously you're disappointed. Obviously you feel कि यार, like I said, I've been an epic chuda person, and oh my God, man, for my marriage to start crashing down was probably the worst feeling to accept. I thought it took me, even after divorce, it took me a lot of years to come to terms with it. Jabki, you know, like somebody would flirt with me, I used to get offended. And they used to be like, aren't you single? I'm like, technically, because I used to come back to Jaydon, you know, so I was not comfortable with it. So it took me a really long time to come to terms with the fact कि ये तो टूट गया रिश्ता. Like रिश्ता टूटना is even today like a huge thing for me. I have friends who are 25-30 years old.
Yeah.
I stayed with my friend Ritika in Dubai. She's what, 25-year-old friend, you know. So I have friends, I believe, and I cling on to my friends. And then, you know, agar ban gaya rishta, to I'm like that. So for a person like me who's very like that in a relationship of any sorts, so you can imagine as a husband wife, तो मतलब मेरे लिए क्या ही था. तो वो टूटना was quite crazy for me.
You know, even again, Jennifer during our conversation said that, you know, it was very difficult for her to break that news, and not just break that news, even after it happened, to have a discussion about the whole thing with her parents, because it was a choice that she took for herself.
Yeah.
And it is a problem, it is a dilemma that I think most men and women face when a love marriage actually breaks, because eventually it's a choice that you've made, so you have to take responsibility of it going wrong as well.
Yeah.
Was it the same with you? How did you break it to your family, and how did they react?
So one, I never told my parents, like you can see even today, like I said, I'm very protective of how much they do in my life. I know they are there. I know my sisters, they love Jaydon probably more than their kids. It's a fact. I'm very protective of them as a person. So I, for years, never told them what I was going through, या मुझे क्या लग रहा है, या ये नहीं सही हो रहा है, या वो. I never told them. They were not a part of where it started, how much it happened.
Yeah.
But today I feel बताती तो शायद, you know, it would have
Easy
been easy. But when everything came out in the open only, and I could not undo it, is when they came to know. Literally, I think when people came to know. So it was a very like what, and like there was too much to process for them, you know.
Yeah.
And I think initially, obviously, there was too much jolt, and ये कब हुआ और ये क्या, अच्छा तो उसका मतलब वो तो अच्छा वो, like they were trying to put bits and bits together with their own logics also, but very like instantly my family literally sat down like that and said, it's okay. You know, whatever it is, this is a kid, this is our kid, so don't get too excited about him being your child. We are there, we'll figure it out. And there was this immediate holding my hand and saying, we are there. ऐसे हो जाएगा, don't worry. And like I said, even my mom, very traditional, very stereotype, but when it comes to me, they just know कि यार ये कर लेगी. You know, ये जब आएगा ना, push comes to shove, she'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because a constant part of me has been a problem solver. The agony aunt, you have no idea to what level. I have that problem, I feel. So I am okay with solving your problem, but I'm not okay with you solving mine.
Not okay being a problem. Yeah.
I'm not okay being a problem, and that is something I'm not sure it's a good thing. Sometimes I feel, you know, it's too stiff.
It burdens you. Did it ever bother you that what if kids say that to your child when he doesn't understand it? Was that something?
Jaydon has definitely been through those phases where the kids, you know, they're curious to know why your father doesn't stay, or why are you staying alone, and these things. But Jaydon being my kid, you know, we are like very cool duo. If anybody knows us, they know us.
I've seen the Strawberry Gang.
Yeah, so you know, for him, he'll be like, so what? Like, my mom's there, she does everything, that's fine. And he's not somebody who'll be like, Mom, he said that. He doesn't live in that taboo, because I've never lived in that taboo. You know, and he knows there's nothing missing in his life per se, whether it's the fun, whether it's like a basic decent home, or love, or respect, or emotions, or family. बल्कि मुझे लगता है जितने मेरे दोस्त हैं, including my real family, he has so many मासीज and mummies, and वो भी कई बार अब तो खैर सबको पहचानता है, तो he's overwhelmed with the kind of love that he gets. तो उसको वो चीज़ कभी ना bother की, ना that never became a thing. Like he would come and say, never ask him about my dad. I said, yeah, like he meets me once in a while, it's cool. So he just leaves it as a very matter of fact, and he just lets it be, and I like that.
Initially, it could be difficult. I have so many friends coming from broken families एंड बिकॉज तब के ज़माने में इतने ओपनली बातें नहीं होती थी ना, तो उनका एक बचपन का एक पार्ट ही बहुत बहुत डिफिकल्ट रहा है इमोशनली एंड मेंटली. हाउ डू यू मेक श्योर दैट एज अ सिंगल मदर that is something that your child doesn't go through?
I think, this is something I feel all the parents who are probably at the verge of getting divorced, wanting to not be together, wife not liking the husband, husband not liking the wife, the fights. Guys, do all of this when the kid doesn't understand it. अगर आपको वो decision या discomfort दिख गया शुरू में, make a decision, get it over with. You will find 100 men, you will find 100 women. Get on with it. Because घर में तुम ऐसा नहीं करती हो, तुम वैसा करती हो, तुमने ये क्यों पहना है, तुम ये हो, तुम वो हो, तुम किसके साथ थे, किसके साथ नहीं थे. These conversations linger, and a child who's probably a year old or a year and a half, 2 years old, हमको लगता है इसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, उसको सब समझ में आ रहा है. उसको क्या समझ में आ रहा है? That friction, that anger. So that child who has no idea about world, अभी भी वो language ही सीख रहा है, gets to understand the energies of anger and all that. तो पहली चीज़ तो मुझे लगता है कि भाई आपको अगर प्रॉब्लम लग रही है, the moment you think ये तो डील ब्रेकर है, break the damn deal. मैं तो बोलती हूँ भैया अकेले रह लो, no problem. जाके you date other people, find somebody better or not find anyone at all. That's a better home to be. Like I say this, we had an unhappy home. We broke the house. It became 2 homes. Now my home, I'm very sure, is a happy home. I always pray that for Shalin, that he has a happy home. So Shalin से चाहे 2 मिनट मिले, Jaydon अच्छे से मिले, respectfully मिले. मुझे जब obviously मेरे साथ तो रहता ही है. 2 happy homes are so much better than 1 unhappy home with so much friction, because a child does not deserve that.
He understands that?
Absolutely. Jaydon with Shalin, like he meets Shalin once in a while. जब भी Shalin tells me कि यार मैं free हूँ, can you make me meet Jaydon? I'm like yeah. तो अगर मैं shoot कर रही हूँ तो 1-2 दिन बाद या जैसे भी हम मिलते हैं कहीं, कभी बाउंस में मिल लिए, कभी इन्फिनिटी मॉल, कभी यहाँ कभी वहाँ मिलते हैं, and then he spends good time with him, and then he goes. He knows कि पापा's going to his house. Jaydon comes here, obviously, So I am very happy that Jaydon's health mentally is intact.
But when you speak about Shalin and you said that, whenever he wants to meet the child, you're taking time out and getting it done. But would you still call him a best friend, because he actually went on the show and called you his best friend?
See, I think, उस दिन तो एक्चुअली बताऊँ, एक तो मैं ना बिग बॉस देख नहीं रही थी उस टाइम भी, और अभी तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं देख रही. आई रियलाइज आई एम बेटर ऑफ बीइंग अ कैट हु डजंट नो व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन, एंड आई से वो लाइट ऑफ है. आई एम बेटर ऑफ बीइंग दैट कैट, बिकॉज व्हेन यू सी इट देन ऑल्सो मुझे ऐसा लगता था बिफोर ही एंटर्ड बिग बॉस कि मुझे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, बट एनी टाइम आई एम मेंशन्ड इन अ हिलेरियस और अ फनी वे, आई डोंट लाइक इट, एंड इट्स वेरी लाइक इट पिंचेस मी बैडली. Him meeting once in a month, twice in a month, or once in 2 months in a good space, आ गए, डिनर कर लिया साथ में, लंच कर लिया, Jaydon ने उसके साथ टाइम स्पेंड कर लिया, दोनों खेल लिए, like we go to video game parlors or whatever, he plays with him. That's a happy place to be for me, But do I call him and say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking I should take this decision, should I? Or, today I'm thinking of going partying with this person, or I'm dating this one. Is Shalin the person? No. I have my best friends very much there from the beginning. I talk to them about what's happening in my life, what is not there, what is there, what I want, what am I doing, where am I going in the evening. That friendship I don't hold with Shalin. What I hold is respectful relationship, I can say today, for Jaydon, where we meet, we have a great time, and then bye-bye, and we come. And then for weeks, we don't meet.
But did it affect you when you were told, when you heard it, when you saw
I think I got affected by the second half that I've been telling everybody about, is when I think Tina asked him, was it an abusive relationship? And he said no. And मैं जब तुम्हें बताऊंगा, you'll be like, really? जिस तरह से he said it, मुझे लगता है कि easier way for him could have been कि you come out. अभी इस बारे में बात नहीं करते, because there's somebody involved in this topic who's not here, and she happens to be the mother of my child, and we finally cracked a good relationship today. अब उसको आप friendship बोलो, co-parenting बोलो, मुझे नहीं पता क्या, best friend तो obviously नहीं है, पर वो एक अच्छी जगह हमने धीरे धीरे करके संजोई है, and we've got that where Jaydon comes and I don't have a frowning face saying, oh, you know, something was wrong between the two of us. He comes, he sees two of us happy, I'm on my phone with something he's doing, and he spends time. But you don't laugh and say, जब तुम्हें पता चलेगा, you'll be like, really? मुझे वो बहुत bother किया, and I realized probably not looking is a better thing, because मुझे ऐसा लगा था कि it doesn't matter, but it does, you know. आप अपने घर में कुछ भी बोलो, it's completely his space, his thing, he can say whatever, but I can't not be affected when I'm like being laughed at like that. But yeah, and somebody said, oh, he doesn't get to meet Jaydon. He said कि मैं 8 साल के बाद अभी मैंने पाया है अपने बच्चे को, or something like that. I think what he's trying to say is that like we meet in a good space now, which actually he should be fiercely protective about. And when he said, I was like, no, he meets whenever he says he wants to meet. I am more than happy, because that's good for Jaydon. See, I'm not again being noble. मेरे लिए बड़ा simple फंडा है, Jaydon के लिए शालीन को मिलना is as healthy as it gets. And I would want that. And Shalin also, whenever he meets Jaydon, he meets with respect, decently मिलता है, प्यार से मिलता है, कुछ games खेलेगा या whatever करेगा, and that's good for me, and I like it like that. So I think he should be protective of it, and I hope he's not spoken anything. I've just come back, and no, thank God. I hope not. And
but does it affect the friendship that you guys have created today? This whole incident. Will you, once he comes out, will you be talking to him about
it? You know, I'll just tell him that I am not happy with the fact that I had to go through this memorabilia again, because it took me a really long time to heal again, heal 2.0. I've done all of that and come to a point where I'm in a very
happy space.
And when I say happy, it's for real, you know. And to be talking about it, I understand Bigg Boss is a huge platform, and obviously it's going to happen, and people will obviously Google him if people don't know him, or if they know him, they'll be like whatever. But for me to, like, because I also went to Bigg Boss, probably that's why it affected me more. कि मैं भी तो गई थी. Did any of the journalists go running to his house and say ऐसा बोला है, what do you think? I don't think so, because मैंने तो बोला नहीं, because मैं भी ऐसा भी नहीं है कि भैया ये Bigg Boss में मैं ऐसा कुछ करूँगी तो मुझे जाने का मौका लगेगा. मैं जा चुकी हूँ. और मुझे अगर वाइल्ड कार्ड में जाना होगा, I know the people, I'll call them and say मुझे आना है. तो the point is, that is not the aim of my life. No, like to be seen more or whatever. I have my web shows coming, I've done a film, I'm traveling, I have a lot of great things going in my life. No, him going to Bigg Boss is not my high point. My high points are created by me, which are genuinely very big, and I'm very proud of it. So I would like to be talked about that. So I would want to tell Shalin when he comes out that I'm not happy with the fact that you created this urgency for me to talk about my past again. And like you asked me some question, I genuinely don't even remember. It's gone, like faded, gone. And that's been a very manual effort. You know, of constantly creating new
I understand that. That's why I didn't prod also, because I know how much time it might have taken for you to like come out of it. So yeah, putting you in that space. But at the same time, the point of this conversation was to enable and reinforce that amount of strength in all those women who are fighting a voiceless game today. I hope that your story reaches out to all of the people who need it, because I always say this, that if she can, you can too.
Of course, you know, at a parting note, I'll tell this to all the women watching. Guys, love marriage or arranged marriage is not the point. You know, you thought he was correct and he didn't end up being, or your parents thought, it doesn't matter. Now you're married, now you're in it, try to make it work. But if it doesn't, make yourself financially independent to make a decision. That is what eventually is the crux. Not to think twice, not कि अरे मेरे पास तो मेरे बड़ा पैसा, एक झगड़ा हो गया, निकल गए. नहीं, झगड़े हर घर में होते हैं, किसी भी घर में जाएंगे पंगे होंगे, वो नहीं होता है. बट जहाँ पे एक डेड एंड आ गया ऑफ डिसरिस्पेक्ट, एंड इफ इट बिकम्स अ लूप, you don't get into a loop, you get out of it.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
It was lovely speaking to you.
Same here, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Dalljiet Kaur, and I've just shared my story and spoke a lot on Bollywood Bubble, and I really hope that you guys enjoy as much as I did while chatting away. And if you do subscribe, do like, and comments would be great. I'd love to come and see what you guys say.